welcome everybody. Let me just check my sound now, make sure that is all working off on Twitch. Right, should be all good. Right, we're here, Tier 1, Round 2. We're here at Texas, as qualifying will be starting in 10 seconds. Lovely stuff, get the action going. Let's see if we can get any good battles coming into this one. Right, here we are as... Right, I need to figure out my Twitch stuff, but everyone is in the pits currently, as we will wait for them to come out eventually. And the battle for pole will commence. As I'm trying to get back into my own Twitch, because it's screwed up, so I can have stuff on. But as you got the Red Bull of Wishing coming out first, got a few others. You've got the RB of... We're going to call this guy 55. Not going to even try and pronounce it. You've got Armado coming out in the McLaren. So you've got 3 drivers out so far. Looks like the other McLaren is coming out. But we are going to stick on board with Wishing, as he is the first driver out to set a lap. And just while they're on the out laps, I am going to continue to try and get onto my own Twitch. Oh god. Right. Oh, that's what I've done wrong. Okay. Almost there. Yes, there we go. Right. 2 seconds and the comms will properly begin, as Wishing is about to start his lap. So, gotta be quick. And I don't know what's going on. But anyway, right, let's see what Wishing can do. As almost everyone's out apart from Laurie Peach in the Mercedes. So, down the straight we go. Overtake on, DRS on, down into the braking zone, down to gear 2. You want to get the exit right. You don't want to hit too much of that first curb, otherwise it will potentially spin you. So, as we go around the S's beautiful section of the track, keep your foot planted down these sections here. As you come to a tricky corner for most, especially with track limits on the edge here. Let's see, Wishing gets it nicely done as he comes round to the long DRS straight, where most overtakes do happen here, but we'll have to see how it goes. He does have some traffic in the way, as we will ride on board and see as getting past the traffic, nicely getting out of the way down into this turn here. Heavy braking zone, you want to get on the power as quickly as possible here. Slight bit of overtake used. He's got 40% left, it's quite a lot, but back out, he steps out a little bit. That might cause some time loss, but let's see, will it cause him to drop positions on this first lap? as into the penultimate corner and keeps it within track limits. Final corner now. This is an important one to get, as to the line a 1:31.8. As the RB goes 1:31.9, so 1/10 off. Let's see who is the next one to cross the line. As Myth, our race winner last time, he's gone fourth, but AMS Aaron in the Williams, all beaten now by the other RB, 31.4. And these times can just keep impressing and get better with the track, evolving. Right, who is next to cross the lap? Sab is not. Shadow coming across the line now. Goes P6, 1:32.2. Who's next to cross the line? As RevRob sets a 1:31.3. As CGM will come across the line now. Where's he placed? P8. As Sab invalidates. As let's see, the other Ferrari just keeps it in within track limits. Let's see what his time will be. He comes across the line and he goes up to third, a 1:31.6. 3/10 off his teammate, but very close up at the front. Sabin pits as it'll be Laurie Peach next. I've just missed someone, so that is on me. Can't work out who it was. But as we come round the triple right-hander, not much battery left to play with for the Mercedes, as it takes it in 6th. You don't usually see that, as he has used all his battery now, so let's see what his time will be as he comes across the line at B12. And let's see, how does the other Mercedes do? Quite a lot of batteries, B14. So Myth, our race winner last time out, down in 13th at the minute. He's 1.3 seconds off the pace of RevRob at the minute. So let's see, is anyone else closer? No, don't think, no. So we will keep on board with Myth, as it does look like he is going to be a second run potentially, as he does keep it within track limits. Let's see what he can do. Coming down to the DRS straights, you want to get good traction here to get the optimal top speed. And DRS activated. We've got a bit of traffic, so we'll get a slight slipstream down into this corner here, and takes it quite fast. Almost goes off track limits there, but just keeps it within. Decent acceleration there. Ooh, back end steps out slightly, so that'll drop him down just a bit of time. Triple right-hander now. Overtake is on. He does have a car ahead of him, so that might, and he has invalidated, unfortunately. So we will run with, let's see, who is closer. Yeah. So it looks like Sab will be the next one to set a lap. So we've had the first round of laps, which is usually known as your bankers, just due to the, grip improves and, just all sorts really. So, let's see. As Sab has invalidated his outlet. Right, I finally logged back into my own Twitch account, so I can now see the chat. So, let's have a look as Daniel's first lap gets slightly on the curb, but not enough to cause any traction problems, as everyone seems to be coming out now for the second lap. So let's see, Sab will be wary about track limits here, and he has invalidated again. Not looking good for Sab at the minute, as Myth is on a lap, but he's 3 seconds down apparently, which I don't really believe. Let's see. Yeah, he was 3.8 seconds down, so very good. Let's see as AMS Aaron is on a lap. Powerful sector 1 apparently, but this game can lie about that, so we'll see. Takes that corner very, very nicely. So down into the DRS straight now. Very important to get the traction right. Runs on the curb and looks pretty decent. So let's see, using almost all the battery into this turn. Down the straight. Into this corner now. As Texfegir does, the back end does step out a little bit. He's 4.5 tenths up on his lap. This would put him very much on course for pole position. But you do have both Ferraris starting their laps. So into the triple right, very, very close to track limits there, but that's where you want to be. Get the optimal lap. And invalidates. What a shame that could have been. Very, very good lap for him. Let's see who is next to cross the line. As the McLaren will not be. And it looks like it will be the Red Bull of Wishing. He is currently on a 1:31.8. He's 2.5 tenths up on his lap currently. So he will be very, very close to P3 on the grid. He needs quite a lot of improvement here if he wants to fight for pole position. So let's see, will he invalidate here? A lot of drivers seem to be doing it at the minute. That keeps it within the track limits. And into the final corner now. Let's see, coming to the line, he goes P3 at 1:31.6. It's 3 tenths off at the minute. Who is next across the line? Looks like 55 is 1:31.6, goes P4. As MS Aaron does spin. Right, let's see. As I believe it's a Ferrari of Red Rob. Comes across the line and goes 1/10 faster. But I believe he invalidates it. He did. CGM just beats his time by pretty much nothing. But you know, this could be it between pole, you know, as Red Rob's teammate of Scythe does improve, but still 1/10 behind his teammate, as the RB goes quickest, 1:31.2, who is next across the line, so it won't be Aaron. Looks like it might be a Sauber of Myth. No, he's just starting his lap. That Mercedes has invalidated. The RB's not on a lap. So it will be Fancy Diamond who will be taking next. Finishing a lap. So he's currently down in 14th place with a 1:33.0. So he'll be looking for a massive improvement here if he wants to be fighting for pole. And keeps it within track limits just. Coming around the final corner now. Let's see. On the acceleration goes P10 at 1:31.9. Very big improvement there, about 1.1 seconds. Who is next to cross the line? Potentially, nope, none of the McLarens. As it looks like it will be Myth. He's currently 14th with 1:32.6, and he's a second down at the minute. So it looks like he might back out of this lap, as he is saving his battery now. Sab, the only one yet to set a valid lap, so he will be feeling the pressure as everyone does come in now. So we should see Fancy Diamond, Myth, and yeah, just them to pit, as we will wait now for the final runs to begin very shortly. Right. So now we just wait. But currently the championship leader, even though it's very early, is, you know, it's only been one round. Is Myth. You know, he's a reserve driver. So it is very interesting. Let's actually have a look at the championship standings. Right. Let's pull them up. So let's do the team constructors first. You got Ferrari in first. Currently they look to, you know, they're looking very good in third and fourth, but anything can happen in the race. You got myself and Kick Sauber in second. You've got Aston Martin in third, McLaren in fourth, Williams fifth, Red Bull sixth, and the final points went to Racing Bulls in seventh. Mercedes, Alpine and Haas yet to score points. So it could be a battle for, who knows, the final point out of them three teams. But yeah, as you do have a few people coming out on their outlaps now. So let's go to Gordy Peach, because he will be the first one to set a lap. He's gone quite early, so he will have to get past some traffic. So he will hope that it doesn't hold him up at any point. Right, so coming around the final corner to start his lap. He's in hot lap mode, DRS activated, and overtake mode is on. And he is back into hot lap. Going straight down into turn one. Let's see how he takes it. And looks nicely into that first corner, as I believe his teammate letting him through that. No, it was a Sauber, sorry. Looked like a Mercedes. Right, through the X section, a little wobbly there, but a tenth up on his time at the minute. So we'll keep him in 13th if he doesn't find, you know, 3 tenths in this lap. But let's see how he does in the second sector, as he does come down the DRS straight, and this is where he will hit the traffic, a very difficult part, especially for traffic. And let's ride on board for this, just to see how he does with traffic, as currently he does have a Red Bull in the way and potentially blocking him, as finally he gets past it, but he might be a bit annoyed with that. This does have another driver ahead of him. Will this hold him up? And that driver does try and get out of the way the best he can, and Mercedes keeps it within track limits. And let's see, what time will he set? 2 tenths improvement, 1:32.2, but unfortunately that is his lap, as we will run on the pole sitter 3 tenths up in a minute apparently. Let's see as he comes, and he's 1 tenth down through that first sector, and very close to invalidating there. Little bit of a step out from the back, but he does keep it in control. We do have Ferrari of RevRob, who is 2.5 tenths up. This is the lap to put him on pole potentially, if he can hold it through this third sector. Let's have a see. Sab cannot set a valid time, so we'll be starting last on the grid, as the RB of 55 goes P5. Shadow up 7, 1:31.7. Let's see what RevRob can do. Can he take pole position here? Yes, he can with a 1:30.8. We are into the 30s here, as you got the RB coming through. Let's see what he can set, as long as he can keep it valid. Yes, he can. Right, into the last corner we go. AMS Aaron goes up to P2 with 1:31.1, and The RB takes that second place back with 1:31.0. Can anyone challenge Revrov for pole position? As his teammate goes up to P3, but still no one else is in the 130s at the minute. Oh, the Red Bull's getting all squirrely at the exit there, as down to the finish line and doesn't improve, 2 temps down, as that is qualifying over. So you have Revrov on pole position, and what a lap from him. It was what, 3 temps was it? No, it was a 10th in the end. So your grid is Revrov P1, the RB of BP in second. You got the Ferrari of Safe P3, Aaron P4, CGM P5, Bolts P6, Wishing P7, Myth 8th, 55 9th, Shadow in 10th, Amado 11th, Francie Diamond 12th, Ahas in 13th, Laurie Peach in 14th, and Sab in P15. 1.4 seconds from Revrov to the final lap that was set. But here we go for the race. Will it be a dry one? Will it be a wet one? Who knows? Let's have a look. As it is going to be dry. As we will now just wait for all the drivers to prep their strategies. As it is a one-stop strategy here. Medium to hards or hard to mediums. You might get the odd 2 stoppers depending on safety cars, virtual safety cars. Anything can happen. You know, track limits as well. Could see some of them affecting people's races at the end, as you do want to avoid track limits the best you can to help. As we will now just wait for everyone to be ready. As this could be a very interesting race, and we potentially have a championship leader swap in round 2 here. You know, as it is early on, it's to be expected really, but Myth not having the best time in quali. But we shall see. Still waiting, Jesus Christ, how long does it take you all, eh? God. Right, still waiting. And if you couldn't guess, we are still waiting. That's alright, because I can chat absolute waz until we get going. Keep you all entertained. That is me. Right. So. As we are still waiting, you know, but hey ho, as everyone is getting ready with setup, like changing their tyre pressures from quali, the fuel strategy. Let's see what tyres, as here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away we go, as the RB looks like he had quite a good get off there. And down into the first corner we go, as the RB does look, and all contact between the RB and Revrov. Revrov dropping down the order now to P5. So that is not what he would have wanted, but his teammate taking the lead. As we go down the order here, it looks like some position changes going on. As Sab getting up to P12 quite early on. We've got 2 Saubers, 8th and 9th. Let's go back to the top here and let's have a look at tyres. Everyone's starting mediums apart from the Sauber of Myth, as Revrov gets back up into P4. Laurie Peach makes it up to P11. Bit of contact between him and Sab there. But let's have a look at this top flight, see if there are any changes. Looks like Revrov will keep his position, but the Red Bull of CGM going ahead there. The Ferrari of AMS Safe looks like he spun it and drops right down the order. As we go back up, as CGM going to try and make the move on the McLaren, but Bolt's gets a very nice exit there and keeps the position, and Wishing and Shadow both fighting it out as Shadow takes that position there. Lovely move by him. So lots of position changes, and who's going wide there? And it is the Mercedes of Laurie Peach as Sab gets back past for the final position, and he gets spun, and Sab has been spun. He might have got some damage there and drops down to P15, the last place, as the Mercedes has taken P10 back, but that was unfortunate as the McLaren of Amado goes wide, so leaves him vulnerable to the Haas, as we will climb back up to the midfield pack. As it looks like P6, but it's going very wide potentially. Oh, what's happened? Oh, I think my internet's crashed. I think my internet might have crashed. Yeah, my internet's crashed. Great. God damn it. Right. Very, very annoying, as unfortunately my game has crashed. Lovely, RevRob is a legend. What a guy. Right, as we are coming back in, let's see how the position changes. Sorry for that, everyone who is watching. I apologise for that. Harv says hi. Hello. As we are now getting back into this. Sorry for that brief pause, everyone. As here we go, as lots of changes. Apparently. Not true. So, ignore the leaderboard at the minute. Very annoying. But, so Aaron, P1 currently. That's massive for him. As we will leave the tyres up there for now. There we go, it has now sorted itself out. So, Wishing is still ahead. As it does. Where's the other Red Bull? Ah, CGM's gone up to third. Wishing is back ahead of Shadow. Shadow in P7, Myth P8. Right. Now it's all sorted itself out as BP will... as RevRob looking to make the move on the McLaren, and he does. Up to P4 now. He's trying to recover his race. As looks like Myth and Shadow have swapped positions. So they're both fighting. Myth is the only one who started on hard. So watch out for him towards the end on those fresher mediums. As 55 just has a stare at the back of the two Saubers. As BP could, he's not far off dropping out of the DRS, but he should be able to keep hold of it, as battery saving is key here. As you can see, Aaron doing quite a good job of it currently. Just over 50% BP, only, just under 20 now. It's really having to burn to try and keep up with him, as CGM has currently lost the DRS, which will be a nice look for RevRob, as he does have CGM ahead of him. Wishing does not have DRS as he goes through the S section, as Myth's tyres will slowly start to become the better tyre, as he does have that yellow fuel light though, so he will have to do some saving at some point. I believe he might be the only one. No, I did just see RevRob is running very low as well. But as we go back to this top fight, as Aaron has got far enough away so that BP does not get DRS, so he will be in trouble from CGM now, as RevRob will be annoyed that he has got back. But it's long race, as RevRob gets right up behind him, as Myth up ahead of the Red Bull of Wishing now. He'll be wanting to make his way up to the McLaren in 5th. Shadow P8 now, still staying there. The RB might try and look for something soon though, as it is just a DRS train really, as Sab still hasn't recovered from that spin, and neither has Scythe, but he is making his way back up slowly but surely, as the Mercedes of Francie Diamond, unfortunately 6 seconds down. Oh, as there's a Red Bull of Wishing, he must have spun, because he has dropped right down the order there, and everyone is very close to Shadow now. It looks like Shadow might have had a mistake actually, as he's dropped well behind his teammate now of 2 seconds and loses out P7, unfortunately, as he could look to get back past if he can stay close enough through the S section. That is what he'll want to do, as he does have more battery currently, so the RB could be very, very vulnerable down the DRS straight. So, as you can see, as Myth right on the back of Bolts in the McLaren now, as the McLaren does not have DRS, and very close. Looks like Myth will get this position here, and he pulls to the left hand side and goes right past the McLaren, gets that nice and easy. Let's see, will Shadow make the move? As yes, he will. The McLaren looked for it on Shadow, but Shadow did make that move on the RB. It's great racing from them. It looks like the RB might go back down the inside. Yes, he does. The McLaren takes the inside line to try and get ahead, but the rear steps out. So does Shadow. His rear did step out. And ooh, almost contact there, as side by side, the Sauber and the McLaren, but the McLaren does get P8. Let's go back up to this top fight here, as RevRob is 3 tenths off of BP now. He gets ahead of CGM. So back up to the podium places for RevRob. He'll be looking to make a recovery drive up to where he started in P1, as Myth is P5, as does not have the DRS, but he'll be hoping through the S section he will be able to get it back, as Sab now getting ahead of the Haas, as he's now back in DRS of everyone. So 55 drop back some more, 3 seconds the gap now between 6th and 7th. So let's go back up to this top 5, as Aaron is pulling away now. He's got a 2.8 second lead, so his time's been looking, and Shadow is the first one to get a 3 second time penalty on lap 7, and the Haas follows him very quickly. So that's 2 penalties already. And let's see, as of course my controller batteries are now low. So RevRob up to P2, as Myth looks to the inside of the Red Bull, but unfortunately cannot get it. Amado looks like he's made that place on the 55 RB. And 2 seconds. So let's go back up towards the top. Myth is in P5, but he's on the hard. Ooh, as the Ferrari of size into the pits on lap 8. Looks like it might be a 2-stop for him, as he has to go 20 laps on these hard tyres. Let's see, will he be able to save those tyres and make it to the end? Let's have a look. We'll wait and see, shall we? But Myth in P4 is still in the DRS. BP is in the DRS of Revrob, as Revrob has closed that gap. As CGM gets a 3-second time penalty, that could really affect his race come the end if it stays like this. Myth very close to BP now, as it does look like the hards are the better tyre now. So let's see what he can do down this straight. The RB does have DRS, but no move made. But getting a better exit. Oh, the RB just cuts across there, and Myth makes that position stick. So Revrob defeated Myth up into the podium places now, which is what he'll want to do if he wants to keep his championship lead. As we are on board with Myth, as he is just within DRS. But he does not have it down the straight. Interesting, as you see a couple more guys pitting of the 55 RB and Shadow into the pit. So does Francie Diamond. Let's see where Safe comes out between them, as the gap is staying around 2.6 seconds between Revrob and Aaron. So Myth coming right up towards Revrob here. The hards are definitely the faster tyre now. So let's see, will Revrob be able to keep his place on Myth? I don't think he will, as it is very, very close. We'll go on board for this overtake, as no battery deploying now because he's got the DRS. And there we go, safely through, as it looks like CGM is making the move down on BP. Side by side they go, but the Red Bull ultimately wins that battle. So Myth now will want to close down Aaron as quickly as he can due to the tyres, as the Haas gets another 3-second time penalty. So that puts him on 6 now. So we will continue and seeing where these battles are currently. Let's see, Revrob is trying to stick within the DRS so we can get dragged along. So Shadow at the RB of 55 did come out ahead of the Ferrari of Safe, as you see the Haas and Sab pitting now on lap 10, as the Haas actually retires. So we have our first retirement of this race, and it is the Haas. So that is unfortunate, as Myth has closed that gap down by a second now. So it's 1.5 seconds the gap to the leader, as Revrob just drops out of DRS now. Will he be able to make it back? He's burning the battery to try and get back in it, but it doesn't look like he can. But CGM is 2.2 seconds off, as it looks like BP might look for a move down here, as the battery is very equal, as the McLaren of Bolts has got a lot of battery to burn. Lots and lots of battery. But will there be a move down into this corner here? No, there won't, as they will just sit behind each other, as Myth is in the DRS now of Aaron. That gap has gone down massively over the last lap or two. So Aaron is now saving battery to hold off Myth. Safe gets past Shadow now up into 11th him, as Aaron dives into the pits for the hard tyres, as Myth will continue on as Revrob follows him in. So BP also comes in, as CGM opts to stay out, so does Bolts. So, let's see, is there anyone close racing-wise? As Safe and 55 are the closest by 10th, as Bolts is very close to dropping out of the DRS. Let's see, as not much DRS for either of them. And let's see, as Amado comes out behind this battle, as BP does come just out ahead. So does RevRob. Aaron comes out 3 seconds clear of RevRob. So let's see, as Wishing, Bolt and CGM all yet to pit, and Myth as well. But Myth will be going longer due to him starting on the hard. So let's see, as Bolt will be looking to make the move, potentially, but I just don't think he's close enough. No, he's not even burning the battery. So little lock up there for CGM, as I'm guessing they are going to jump into the pits this lap. So it'll be interesting to see where Safe comes out, if he can jump these guys or not, as the gap now is 6.7 seconds, 6.8 to the leader of Myth. As let's see, will the Red Bull jump into the pits? Yes, he will. Bolts will continue for another lap on these mediums, so he will have good tyres. And Wishing also comes in, so a double stack for Red Bull, as they did have that gap. Let's see, as Safe is the closest one to making a move. Let's see, will he be able to make a move down here? Don't usually tend to see a move down into turn 1, but they are not going to, as they come out ahead of CGM. So this could hold up CGM, as the McLaren of Amado very, very close to his rear end, as Shadow gets another 3-second time penalty, as it does look like he has pit again, potentially, and is now on 6 seconds, as Amado gets his first penalty. Let's see, as it is a DRS train now, as Safe will be looking for the move on the RB. So let's see, battery wise 6%, yep, there you go, there's the move on the RB, as CGM stays ahead of Amado. Sab is looking to get into this fight here, as Bolt's still yet to pit. He's 10 seconds behind Myth now, and he will now jump into the pits as Amado gets that position on the Red Bull. This is a fight for the lead. CGM was up there, and after these pits he is now being held up by drivers who were behind him. So where will Bolts come out of the pits? Let's see. Looks like he will come out behind this train and come out P11. Does look like that. As Francis Diamond gets 3 seconds, and he'll come out P9. A big train, as Myth is 17 seconds in the lead currently. He will be coming onto fresh mediums, so it'll be interesting to see what his pace is like on them mediums, as the 55 will be looking to potentially get past the Ferrari down the straight. Let's see if he can keep it close to him. Safe does have more battery though, which is what he'll want to do to try and hold this position of P5 and on the battery for the pair of them. The 55 RB will be looking to get that move, but it just doesn't look like he's close enough, as doesn't even burn the battery. So Armado. So no moves for this train, as Bolts will be looking to get back in it, as Shadow gets another penalty. So that's 9 seconds worth of penalties for him now, as it is all quiet at the top. So P5 to P9, that is the battles that are closest. So we saw in Div 3 there was a big midfield fight. I'm not sure about T2, but let's see. as the gap is 7/10 now. So as you know, all different tyre lives for all these drivers. You know, your highest is Scythe on 6-lap-old hards, so soon enough his tyres will start dropping compared to the rest of them. As you have CGM on the likes of 2-lap-old hards, Sab on the 4-lap-old hards, but he is attacking CGM and potentially looking for a move down this straight. Quite hard to do that in a train, but it's important you save your battery. Shadow is out of the race, unfortunately for Sauber. But Myth in the lead by 16.2 seconds now. So that gap slowly coming down, but not massively. So let's go to this fight now as Safe or Scythe, either one. You know, he is almost out of the DRS. You know, he's almost pulled a DRS gap to the RB as Armada and CGM both in this midfield fight currently, and they both have time penalties. So there was a lock up there for the 55 RB, as Armado will be looking at that and wanting to have a go. Sab looking to recover his race after that early on spin, as CGM will be looking to get back up to this top flight. So as the RB pulls out slightly to try and stop Sab from slipstreaming him, as Sab fakes the move but sticks behind. So 55 RB still sticking within DRS currently of the Ferrari, but he could potentially lose out to it as Sab with a 3-second time penalty now. So that is unfortunate for him, so he'll have to make that move in CGM and Amado to get those positions, and he'll have to watch out for Bolts. All these drivers will have to watch out for Bolts as he is coming. He's 1.5 seconds now, and he is in that last points position. So Mercedes currently looking for no points. So let's see, as looks like there was a move as Amado gets past the RB, and so does... no, never mind. It looked like CGM also made that move, but he didn't. As Amado also gets the DRS off of Scythe now, so he will want to stick in that DRS and hope he can pass safe. With the fresher tyres by a few laps, he'll be confident he can make that move up, as the RB will be looking to get that position back, but not burning much battery, as it looks like CGM might go for the move here, as he does down into turn 1, as the RB potentially looking for a switchback but doesn't get it, as CGM now moves up into P7, as the 55 RB now moves down to P8. Sab right behind him now, as CGM has lost the DRS now to Amado currently, but he has now got back inside DRS range, as it is all a guessing game of when Myth will pit, but it potentially should be soon, as that gap is now down to 14.6 seconds between Aaron and Myth. But while Myth hasn't pit, everyone is burning and using up their tyres, so Myth will be a rocket ship right at the end here. As let's go back down as Amado, very close to safe, but nothing doing. CGM still out of DRS, and Amado dives down the inside, and it is side by side as the McLaren. As let's watch from CGM's point of view, as he is now back in the DRS due to this fight. All the McLaren getting all wiggly and out of shape there. Bit of contact there, side by side. This will throw the McLaren off massively, as BP gets 3-second time penalty. That could definitely affect his race, as the McLaren goes back up the inside of safe. Right, up to P5 for him. So, Amado in P5 goes defensive into turn 1 as CGM dives down the inside of Safe, going up to P6 and potentially could get up to P5. Let's see who holds it. Bit of contact there. Let's see as he does get it up to P5. 2 positions gained there for him. That is mega stuff for him. As Safe drops down to P7 now. But Amado will be looking to close up as close as he can for this DRS zone here. And he'll be looking to get back past the Red Bull. As Myth still yet to pit. As looks like Sab makes that move on the Ferrari up to P7 now. But looks like Amado and CGM going side by side, and Ferrari and Sab do make contact. But Sab keeps that position. Ferrari tries to dive down the inside but cannot. McLaren and the Red Bull both side by side. And the switchback trying to happen for the Red Bull on the battery, but nothing sticking there. McLaren gets back up into P5 as he will now save some battery, as the other Red Bull of Wishing now with a 3-second time penalty, as Bolts has got past the RB. So very interesting battles going on here. Sab potentially looking for a move on CGM, as CGM's looking for a move on Amado, as Safe will want to keep in the DRS here, but he's on 10 lap old hards now, so he will start to feel the tyres just slowly losing grip. And during these fights he won't be able to save the tyres, so he might be on a 2-stop here. As Bolts is coming free now, he is in the DRS, and he has the freshest tyres out of all of them. So let's have a look. CGM doesn't look close enough to make a move on Amado, but he is gaining and gaining, but will not make that move. He will Sab as Safe right down the inside of Sab goes off the track, and Sab will retake that position. But Sab is now out of the DRS due to that dive bomb, as the Ferrari taking a tighter line, potentially wanting to dive bomb again, as Bolts is now right behind him, as Myth is now in the pits, so Aaron will take the lead of the race, Reverop up to P2, BP will take, no he won't, Myth P3 and on fresh mediums. BP will not be able to get past him in the pits, as Safe looks like he has retired in the pits, so that is the Ferrari gone, done and dusted. Moves Wishing up to final points position now, but we will see how Myth's pace is, as CGM is very, very close to Amado now. So we'll wait for the DRS protection zone and the DRS straight to see what we can do. Sab still out. Bolts is 6/10 behind, so potentially can't do anything from there depending on battery. But he does have a lot of battery compared to Sab. So as Myth is already 1.4 seconds behind, and he's within DRS almost, as Amado goes defensive, CGM goes the outside line, and it will now be a drag race down to this corner, as CGM does get that position, but will the McLaren go for the dive? Yes he will, massive dive. Red Bull tries to go for the switchback yet again, but the McLaren with the better traction on the outside there, and now saving his battery to defend for the next corner, as Myth is now 3/10 within and now passes Revrov. So up to P2 for Myth, as potentially could strengthen his championship lead. And bearing in mind he's a reserve, so he's not guaranteed he can race it. as we see more battling going on between Armado and CGM. They're losing massive time to BP now. 7.2 seconds the gap between Armado and BP. As RevRob will potentially stick in the DRS of Myth, pulling along to Aaron, as he will. He's burning the battery to stick in this DRS, and he does keep it. Myth now on a mission, as Armado gets another 3-second time penalty. That won't help him, as that will drop him right down the order now, and potentially even behind to that last points position, as CGM is looking for the move yet again on the McLaren. This is a very, very hard battle for the pair of them, as looks like he will go defensive yet again, Armado. And let's see the outside line, as that was nice defending from the McLaren there. Keeps it, but goes deep into this corner, so it will give the Red Bull an opportunity. Will the McLaren go defensive? Yes, he will. The Red Bull tries to take a wide lane, and he gets touched by Sab, as CGM is round and now drops down to P8. So Myth with the fastest lap now, 1 second separates him and the leader. RevRob is now 1.7 seconds behind. So Sab looking potentially with a penalty after the race, and same with one of the Mercedes. We will see, as Sab has no battery, as he's trying to stick with Armado there. Bolts coming through, and could potentially get both positions here. CGM is on the back of Bolts, but with Bolts on the fresher tyres, only by a lap, but that could make all the difference on that final lap. So let's ride on board with Sab, as he is too far back to have the opportunity to make the move on Armado, as Myth goes up into P1. Potentially 2 wins in a row for Myth in that Sauber, which would be mega for the Sauber team, as Aaron dives down the inside and hits Myth. That was audacious there from Aaron, and to be honest, I don't think that would have worked either way. He was just a bit too far back, but trying to hold the lead. So he will now try and stick with Myth as long as he can. 7 laps remaining in this race, as he does have the DRS. He is burning, so is Myth, just to keep ahead. And Myth with more battery, so it looks like the Mercedes have swapped positions, as Sab now within DRS. Let's go back up to this top 5, as we'll go on board with Aaron. As we will watch from this perspective now, as Aaron losing out on DRS now. So Myth is now over a second clear of Aaron and can now just pull away. Let's go back to this fight. Sab versus Armado. We're on board with Sab, who's just under 5 tenths, takes a tighter line through here, and looks like it loses him a couple of tenths, as Bolts is just 5 tenths behind. Sab 5 tenths to Armado, and closes in. So let's see, can he make the move down this straight, burning the battery right to 0. Armado still has the battery and just saving them, as Bolts, as well, CGM's dropped out of this fight currently. He does not have the DRS. So let's watch from Bolts, as it is very close, and this could go down to the wire between these drivers. Currently Bolts will get P5, as he'll be wanting to make quick work of this so he can try and get P4, as BP does have that time penalty. As currently, if you are just joining us, we've had 3 drivers out now: the Haas, the Shadow in the Sauber, and the Ferrari of Scythe. So we have 12 drivers remaining, and it is all tight in these middle of the pack here. Bolt's burning a bit. Right down. Amado does have the most battery. So he's hoping he can hold on here for the rest of the race. And yet again you see that slightly tighter line from Sab, but he's widened it slightly, hoping not to lose too much time. He's only lost a tenth through that section of corners there. And it does look like he gains through this traction zone here. But doesn't this time, and actually drops time. So doesn't look like with his battery he just won't be able, just isn't able to get close enough. And Bolts has actually dropped out a DRS from these two, which is not what he wants. I mean, he'll be comfortable in the fact he will gain these two positions due to time penalties. So he's currently sat in P5, as it looks like Mercedes are going at it with each other. They should be working together to try and get Wishing, as BP gets another 3-second time penalty. So this now brings Bolts right into it. Let's actually have a look at penalties. 6 seconds for BP. Amado's also on 6 seconds. So currently Sab's looking in for P5 and Bolts potentially P6. Well, currently P5 for Bolts. Sab will stay where he is, and Amado will drop down the order. As looks like CGM has gained back in, as Bolts now gets a 3-second time penalty. This has just made it so much closer between this midfield now, all with time penalties. And let's just point out the RB of 55. He may be out of DRS, but he doesn't have a penalty. He may be 2 seconds off, but he does not have a penalty, and could make a lot of positions at the final lap of this race due to penalties. As Sab goes up the inside of Amado, as Amado tries to defend that, gets all squirrely out on the exit, and Sab will take that position. Sab now up to P5, goes for a wider line, goes defensive, as Revrov now gets a 3-second time penalty. That is not going to help him, but will not affect him unless he overtakes Aaron. So Sab now in 5th. Both McLarens, will they do a swap of positions potentially, due to Bolts being on the slightly fresher tyres, 2 laps fresher? But currently it doesn't look like it, as CGM is behind and looking for a little look on the McLaren there, but nothing doing there. So Bolts will have to watch out behind, as Sab in P5 now. This is the battle we are watching. P5 right down to P8, and the 55 RB does need to pick up the pace a little bit, as he's 2.2 seconds off, so he will gain a few positions, but if he drops any more he could miss out. As let's go on to Amado's POV, as he is right behind the Williams of Sab now, and DRS and overtake, as Sab is just saving the battery now, as Amado does go back past, as Sab tries to go for the switcheroo, but unfortunately won't be able to get it. Will he go for the inside line here? No, he won't, as he goes for a wider line. The McLaren of Bolts getting very, very close to his back end there, but he did not touch him. So good racing, close racing by all of them, as the Mercedes are still fighting each other for 11th and 12th. So back down this DRS straight, will we see any bold moves from CGM, Sab, or Bolts even, as he is very, very close to Sab, as Sab's got no battery, he's using it all. Bolts is also using it all to potentially have a look. CGM now with more battery, as Sab is now burning just to close up to Amado as much as he can during this S section. And he's just hoping he can hold close enough to Amado to have a go, but a little mistake there will cost him time as he puts Bolts right on his rear end now. Will Bolts look up the inside into this corner? No, he won't, but he will be optimistic coming down this straight, as gets a little bit of back end slip, as Wishing with another 3-second time penalty, as we have just 2 and a bit laps remaining. Miff 6 seconds in the lead. No battery for Bolts. Sab does not make the move, as the Red Bull will be looking to make positions back. Will he go for the dive here? As he was contemplating it, but doesn't in the end, as his back end getting all squirrely out of that corner there. So tough traction zone there, but saves it. Sab now almost 7/10 back. Bolts has dropped a little bit and he's just over 8/10 back now from Sab, so he'll want to close that back up, especially for the long DRS straight. So Sab on no battery yet again. There's a yellow flag as Wishing is in the pits, so that puts the 55 RB still in P9. Looks like Wishing potentially going for a fastest lap. Revrob with another 3-second time penalty, as he's getting closer to Aaron, as the Mercedes of Laurie Peach does go ahead of Wishing, but Wishing will be looking to try and get that position back, as we'll go back to this midfield fight. Sab is half a second back from Amado. Will he be able to do anything, as Amado has saved a lot of battery for this straight, as you can see? And I just don't know, Sab just won't be able to go for the move here, as will CGM look for me? No, he's just too far back. So stays in order, as Amado will wanting to be save as much battery as he can through this final sector, as we start the final lap, as Miff in control and on course to win the second race in a row for him. So that will be the second time this season that a Sauber has won round 1 and 2. We've had it in tier 3 and now we could see it again in tier 1. So back to this midfield fight, as Bolts 9/10 back. This could open up for CGM if Bolts fails to get the DRS. Sab with no battery. Bolts is saving his battery. Amado is using it a bit to try and pull away more from Sab, but Sab using all his battery, as Bolts has fallen out of the DRS, giving CGM the chance on the final lap to get that position on track, as we will have a quick look at penalties. So Sab currently sat looking at P5, Bolts will be P6, CGM will go to P7, and Amado will go right down the order to P8. But then potentially some gains could happen, as I believe Revrob is fighting Aaron here, as we will go down, as Aaron gets a 3-second time penalty, as it is all tight up here, as Revrob goes quite wide, but we will go round to the Sauber, going around the final corner and across the line to win the Austin Grand Prix, his second race win in a row now. What a race from him, as Aaron will come in second. Revrob spinning round that finish line to complete the podium, as BP, solid race from him, finishes P4. Let's go back to this midfield fight, as CGM did get past Bolts, as Amado will on track finish P5. Sab goes up to P5. CGM, where does he come? Stays P7. As there you go, the RB of 55 takes P6. Mega race for him, and what a result for him. So there is your top 10. Miff winning the race, Aaron P2, Revrob P3, BP P4, Sab P5, the 55 RB 6, Amado P7, CDM P8, Bolts P9, Laurie Peach P10, Wishing P11, and Francie Diamond P12. And 3 drivers who unfortunately could not make it to the end of Scythe, Shadow and the Hat. What a race as we just come round, as Francie will now finish off. What a race. What a race for Myth. What a comeback after qualifying. Absolutely mega job from him. So extends his championship lead now and makes it 2 out of 2 again for a Sauber. What a race, especially through that midfield. Absolutely mega stuff. So congratulations to Myth, Rebrob and Aaron. What a race. Well done to all 3 of them drivers. And it did get quite spicy between Revrob and Aaron towards the end. As if anyone does need the race director for anything, I will get that for you. And there you go, that is everything. But Myth is your race winner. Join us next time for Tier 1, Round 3 on Tuesday. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone. Join us again, as I say, on Monday. It's been a pleasure to watch this race. Lots of battles. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.